weekend all. Ira Epstein with your Spider ETF video, and this is your weekend edition for this Friday, the 3rd of April, 2020. Well, quite an interesting day, and you know where we're at. We're into the point where today was like jobless claims looking at them, but we all know those numbers are old, not valid. The numbers are going to soar the next jobs report that we get. Why? Because it's when the numbers tabulated, the cutoff point, and then how they release it at the beginning of each new month. And that number didn't take into account after March 12th, I think it is, didn't get the rest of the numbers, and we know that we've gone to shut-ins around America. The second thing we're looking at is oil prices have taken off, and you'll see that in many areas, is we're trying to get the, if you will, the price war between Russia and Saudis to end. And of course, the price for that might be U.S. production ending. Now, the U.S. cannot order its different producers to stop producing. However, Texas is our big swing producing state, a big one. It is it. And if the Texas Commission decided that it's in their best interest for Texas producers to cut back production, they've done that before. In fact, that's how OPEC was formed. It followed that model. So you look at that. But we know that Sunday night, what the market's going to look at, and you have to look at the stock index futures, because that'll rule things. How many cases, how bad things are getting. That's what we're all going to have our eyes on. When we look at the XLK, this is the technology sector, and obviously if you're watching financial TV, you know, the people are still talking, this is one of the better sectors, but it was down another 1.47, and you can see the huge drop. This market's gone from being up here in the 102 area down as low as under 70. That's not a small drop. That's, you know, about a 30% drop or so that you're looking at. Market's trying to stabilize a little bit, but the pattern is still bearish. This is that chart without a swing line study. The swing line study is a study I wrote many years ago so that I could look at a chart, see it instantly as a trending. Trend defined as if you're in a downtrend, you're making lower highs, lower lows. From that low to that low, there to there's lower too. What would break the trend? Taking out 94.66. Then I'd have a pattern of a lower low and a higher high. If the market drops down, is it possible that instead of using that as the high, we have a new lower high? Of course. And it's a moving area that gives you an idea of what the market's doing. I filter it with moving averages. So even if I get a sell signal in the swing line, I need the market, if it's looking at the 18-week average, to be under it. If it is, then the filter says go. I know where my stop is, and I know what I'm looking at. I'm looking for support first at the 100-week, possibly the 200-week average. But there's another area I look at. I look at Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within them 95% of the time. So between moving averages, a study I don't show here, I do it in my charting course, window envelopes, and the Bollinger Band, you put three together and you've got it. So it's Bollinger Bands, window envelopes, moving averages. Well, what you got here is they came together in this zone. I know where the window envelopes were too. And it's right in here, and now the market has to decide, is it ready for another leg? This has been a powerful downside. Is there another leg coming in the market? That's what we're looking at almost across the board in the different spiders and ETFs. You have this monster break. You've had a 2-week respite. You're still in a downtrend in the tech sector, and you've got momentum that hasn't turned up at all. Then you come to the industrial sector. Well, it's a different looking chart. You went up, made a higher high, and then you went into a vertical decline, and you've had your first bounce. So we haven't had a pattern of lower highs, lower lows. It's just a market that crashed through everything. It did stop and behave itself on the way down at moving average numbers. I mean, you went down, you didn't just plunge, you tried to hold on. The next average was the 200-week. You held it for a bit, and then the market let go. And when it lets go and there's nothing under it, not even the Bollinger Band, it's really nasty. I've got experience with these. It's not fun. And, you know, I've got gray hair because I've been through the '87 crash. I've been through all these different parts of it. And at that time, I even owned a stock company besides a commodity company. Can you imagine? I wouldn't be here. I was on the first floor. If I would have jumped out the window, I would have lived. It was terrible. You know, you laugh about it, but the stress, what goes on, it's insane. So you move back into the Bollinger Band. Okay, we'll see what goes on there. I then look at the energy sector. Now, we all know that we got a pop because the president this week really put political pressure on the Saudis, financial pressure possibly. Russia, I don't know how much pressure we can put on other than nobody really does well at $20 crude. So the market's getting a bounce. Now, how important is it going to be the question. As for telling me it's suddenly a bull market, I'm not buying that. You still have on this weekly chart lower highs, lower lows. There'll be a number that's a resistance number. It got too cheap. It stayed out of the Bollinger Bands if we really look at what it did. This week it was 28.33. The Bollinger Band was 28.73. This week we closed at 22.88 under the Bollinger Band. I can go on and on for you. So you were 4 weeks or so under that band. I don't think you were the fifth, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5% of the time, the market, 5%, stays out of the bands, means 95% in it. I count each consecutive move out of it, a week out of it or a day out of it, consecutive, is taking away one of those 5 percentage points. It's just a rule of thumb. It is not, hey, I'm going to buy there, but I'm looking for the market now. I give it a 1% chance coming in this week of staying out of it. It could do that. It could have stayed. It comes here at 28.33. That's the 5th week, and all of a sudden you're back in it. So I gave it 0% chance this week, and it worked. That's all. It's not a trend change. You're back in the band, and that whole thing starts again. On the QQQ, market got under that lower Bollinger Band, got overdone. Didn't quite get to that 200-day average. That would have been really pretty. A lot of traders have said it doesn't have to. It's close enough, and they're buying, blah, blah. If you're buying individual stocks on the way down and you have a long-term perspective, I get it. But if you're buying the indices, no, I don't get it. There's a different way to play the indices than the individual stocks. You know, ones, they never expire stocks unless the company's bought out or goes broke. Number 2, you're looking at dividends. You're looking at a whole different thing, the growth of the company. Those are the things you're looking at. Well, this is different. This is the combination. And in looking at it, yeah, we got a bounce, but that's it. You got close to, but didn't hit the brass ring here, the 200-week average. You went back to the 100, and that's your resistance point right now. On the emerging markets, you're still in a bear trend. Lower highs, lower lows. You moved back inside the Bollinger Band. That also means when you move back inside, you've taken out this thrust of the market. Is the word more manageable? That might be it. It's more manageable. You still have the momentum down, and you break the downtrend if you get over 54.50, and that's the thing you start looking at. You'd have to get way up here, 219.60, to break that. Got to get all the way up here to break the pattern of lower highs, lower lows. When we come over to GLD, I still have a market that is not in sync. I've got a pattern with lower highs, lower lows. It refuses to stay under the 18-week average for any period of time. It keeps an upside bias, and momentum has flip-flopped, and momentum is now trying to point to the upside. The red line is over the blue, so you're getting moved there. I'll call this market arguing with itself, and I don't see anything clear. On the gold miners on the weekly chart, this is a bearish chart. The daily chart looks friendly. The weekly chart's bearish. You've got lower highs, lower lows. You're under the 18-week average. The divergence comes in because momentum has turned up. The market has held now the 200-week and the 100-week after first slicing through everything, a successful test of the 18-week average. Now these. You get bullish this market if you get over 27.21, and you get more bearish if you start breaking under these numbers because you're putting into play the 21.04. Staying under the Bollinger Band now, I wouldn't be betting on that. TLT, spending a lot of time trying to get back up to the high you made almost a month ago, right here. This is a market that, remember what I said, more manageable? Well, this was the vertical move. Then you pulled back and went to that line in the sand, that 18-week average. Now this is called riding the Bollinger Band. The volatility is nowhere near the same. that you had before. That's gone. Now we have to look to see what the market does next. In the FXE, which is the euro currency, this market's got a pattern of lower highs, lower lows. It's bearish. Momentum is pointing down. Bias is down. Until you take out 105.21, I think the bears have control. And are they going to try to get this to the lower Bollinger Band is one of the things I'd be looking at. And that's where I'd probably keep my eyes on the market. You might want to take a look at my morning subscriber video if you like trading the stock indices and want to know more even about what I'm seeing on the interest rate futures and the like. There's an introductory price of $7.95. It's a 20-minute video in the morning that covers the futures markets. That's what it's all about. A lot of currency, a lot of metals in there, a lot of stock indices, obviously, and all the major interest rate futures at the Merck. I cover the 5-year, the 10, and the 30-year all the time. To find out more, and it's all explained on our website, go to www.iraepstein.com. Under the word research, you'll see it all there. I'm Ira. Have a great weekend. Let's see how volatile Sunday night is, and I'll be talking to you on Monday.